Breaking news! We have info of Unfinity, the next unset. Unsets being, for those that don't know, usually silver bordered, so usually not tournament legal, joke sets. In this case though, all bets are off. This is pretty fucking wild. I'll link to the article in the description below if you want to give it a full read, but I'm basically going to bullet point the overall stuff that Mark Rosewater goes into in the article, and then talk through some of my feelings about it. First of all, it's a top-down set that is amusement park, carnival, circus themed in space. Honestly, I love the idea. I know it's not very magic in some people's eyes, but I love the colourful design of the artwork we've seen so far. I love this space circus thing going on. This is all right up my street. I love it. In order to keep the science fiction within magic, there will be elves and goblins and zombies and stuff, kind of like future magic almost. In the writing team as well, we have Kathleen, Cameron, and Graham of Loading Ready Run. Fantastic people, very funny people. So far, so good in terms of design. Honestly, this video is going to be relatively positive, so if you think I'm like leading with a positive to then go into the negative, I'm not, but there's some interesting shit coming up that's quite confusing. Mark talks about how silver bordered cards like Sword of Dungeons and Dragons aren't even really needing to be silver bordered anymore because we have things like dice rolling and actual magic. What this has led to has a split across the set of silver border and non-silver border, or more accurately, they're moving away from silver borders in general, which means non-tournament legal, to a different holo stamp. So basically, no holo stamp or normal holo stamp. These cards will be legal in legacy and modern and vintage, or if it's got an acorn stamp, it's not legal in any format. I'm going to repeat that because you might think I misspoke or I'm going insane, but this set will be split across two different variants of cards, essentially. All in the draft environment, all in the packs. The ones with a normal holo stamp and no holo stamps, such as the ones on the screen right now, are going to be legal in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander, and the ones with the acorn on them are not legal, unless, of course, your playgroup decides that you can play with them. This is an absolutely wild departure from how unsets have functioned in the past, and it means we're going to have a lot of influx of weird stuff into Legacy and Vintage, but to be honest, as much as that fills me with a little bit of dread, because a lot of design choices recently have ignored Legacy and Vintage and fucking ruined them in many ways, like Companion, for example. But ultimately, they were doing this already. They were already designing in other sets and other spaces like the Commander product and in Standard in ways that didn't give a fuck about Legacy or Vintage anyway, so this is nothing new. Honestly, I kind of like this. It's weird. Some people are going to act like it's very confusing when it's not. It's simply just check the holo foil at the bottom. But ultimately, I like it because I was sad when they only had a temporary window where silver bordered cards were legal in Commander last time around, back in 2017, because some of the legendaries that were in Unstable, I think was the last set, not including the box set. The box set was unsanctioned. In Unstable, some of those legendaries were really cool, and I wanted to continue to play with them, but I don't like having that conversation to get people to allow me to play things at the table. One, I like to rock up to a new table at a command zone or a game store and just know that I'm not going to have a disagreement, argument, or make someone else feel uncomfortable by asking them to play my special Rule Zero shit. And two, being a content creator with a platform and like a following means that some people might be obliged to either be a dick to you or be nice to you. I don't want to force anyone to step out of their comfort zone. So I like the fact that we can get a lot of legendaries like this Space Family Goblinson to be playable in Commander. I think that's smart. The fucking wildest part of all this, though, is that Water Gun Balloon Game is a card from, I want to say Unglued, the second unset. It'll be on screen now. And they're reprinting it as the participation promo for Unfinity for like the release event, but they're printing it with a new holo foil stamp, which means it's going to be legal in Commander and it's going to be legal in Legacy. This means we could see other uncards from the old sets that work within the confines of Black Border mechanics. That means things that don't reference artists or flavors hex or do things like sing or put shoes on the table, any of that dog shit from the original unset, but we can see them reprinted into tournament legal cards. Now, the cool thing about Water Gun Balloon Game is I cannot fucking wait to make content using it to play Storm, for example. This needs to be in the Modo Cube. This makes pink teddy bears if you storm enough. It's fucking awesome. Now, there's a good chance that Unfinity won't launch on Modo, and this will never get into a chest, and we'll never see it on MTGO, so I'll probably never get to see it in the Cube or in Storm, but a boy can dream, right? A boy can dream that Magic the Gathering as a product might have a cohesive attitude towards every facet of it by its mother company. Either way, I have no problem with this, and I hope someone kills me at a Legacy side event at a GP with Water Gun Balloon Game. Next up, we find out there's some Galaxy foiling that makes things look like there's like stars on them. We find out that collector boosters are entirely foiled in this, with 12 of the cards being normal foils and 3 being this Galaxy foiling, and we get 2 different types of lands. We get the planetary specific lands where we're on the planet looking around. So we get these ones, and then we get the orbital specific lands, which are these ones from space. This does fill me with the idea that we might see something similar in the Warhammer product. I know it's a commander deck, but we might see some basics that look like this and varieties of it, like on the planet of Cadia, above Cadia for the forests, or whatever. It's cool. I like them. There is this thing, though, where it's kind of like, what does Magic even look like at this point? Because these don't really look like Magic lands, but that's a Pandora's box that was opened so long ago, it's difficult to get frustrated or upset about it, but it does just ring true every time you see a new set, and now you've got two different versions with two different frame treatments of basic lands. It's kind of wild, really. And then the other interesting thing of all this is that because originally Unglued, Unhinged, Unstable, and Unsanctioned have all been sold off the back of very, very pretty full art lands, some very, very desirable lands, especially in the foils, full art lands become the norm now, right? Like every set has full art lands, from like Kaldheim to Amonkhet back to Zendikar. Every version of Zendikar in Innistrad has just had a full art lands. Full art lands are the fucking norm now, which is cool for accessibility. But what that means is, well, it used to be they would sell unpacks off the back of those lands. That would be the thing that would make collectors and long-term players buy those packs when they weren't interested in playing the silly little draft formats. Well, now we've got both like playable sanctioned commanders. That's one way to shift packs, right? But they've also got something else in the land slot, and that is the shock lands. Here are the 10 borderless space-themed shock lands that will be also available in this like space sci-fi galaxy foiling as well, which they haven't showed off yet, so I can't show a GIF or a video of it. I think they all look great, but again, do they look like Magic cards? They look like Futurama-themed proxies or altars, honestly. And that's not a criticism nor a value judgment, it's just kind of how they are. I like them. This is what Magic is now. You can't really be upset or offended by that. I really actually like the Overgrown Tomb the most. Regardless, Shrine is one of my favourite. Or maybe Sacred Foundry. They both look fucking awesome, to be honest. But I think Overgrown Tomb might be my favourite for like right out there sci-fi. Where Godless Shrine and Sacred Foundry stand up themselves as not being outside of the sci-fi thing. Either way, they're all pretty wonderful. Hallowed Fountain also looks pretty fucking phenomenal. But this is Magic now. So that's it. That's Unfinity. There's going to be draft boosters and collector boosters. We're getting a full preview season. It's being written by actual comedy writers. We've got alternate foilings. We've got full art lands in two different versions. We've got borderless shock lands. And we've got legacy, vintage, and commander legal cards in the set. It's kind of hype. I really like something about it. Just, it ticks a box, right? Growing up, I was never into Woody as a kid from Toy Story. I was into Buzz Lightyear. And Infinity really, like, ticks that box, right? But, I do get when people say, like, what is Magic anymore? It doesn't look like Magic in any way. No matter how many zombies, elves, or goblins you put on a space station, it still doesn't necessarily make it Magic. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. Don't forget to subscribe for more Magic news, content, gameplay, commentary, and all that good shit. And I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.